Okay, in this movie I want to talk about graphics and how to bring image files into your HTML document using CSS. Now CSS supports a background image property, and that's what we're going to talk about in this film here. Okay, as you can see, I'm in Photoshop right now, and I have this illustrious logo for the Java Cafe, and I want to bring this into my document, and I'm going to use it as a background image. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but let's go ahead and save this out right now, and I'm going to save this out as a GIF file. So, as we talked about in the Photoshop example before, if you go into the File menu, and I'm going to go down and say Select Save for Web and Devices, or Option-Shift-Command-S, and it's going to give us the dialog window. I do want this to be a GIF file. Everything looks good. There's no color shift, which means in case you forgot, I'm going to repeat this one more time. If you're experiencing color shifts, if you go into this Optimize menu, make sure you do not have Convert to RGB selected. Let me select that so you can see. Watch for the color shift. There it goes, it went pale. So you want to deselect that. You do not want that on, okay? So I'm going to say Save, and it's going to ask me where. Well, my example, my HTML document is on the desktop, so let's just save this there. So let's say Save, and I'm ready to close out of Photoshop now. Okay, let's go into let's go to the desktop first. So you can see here's my example.html and also my logo.gif. It's on the desktop also, so we're going to tell it where it is. Let's go into the HTML document now. And I'm going to drop down to my, well, real quick, let me show you how this is set up. Inside the body tag, I have nothing but a div called logo. Okay, it's the ID of logo. So I'm going to go up here to div pound logo, and I'm going to say background image, background background dash image. Okay, colon. And what I need to do is I need to give it the URL, or where I need to tell it where the image is located. So I'm going to say URL. And then in parentheses and quotation marks, I'm going to say just simply logo.gif, the name of the file. Okay. I'm going to say save, and let's go to the browser. I'm going to refresh, and oh my gosh, nothing happened. What happened? Well, there's a couple things you need to know about divs, and I'm going to share with you right now. First of all, you know, all these styles and things that we're assigning to objects, such as a tag or a div with an ID or a class, there's a set of defaults that the browser is just going to give you right off the bat. So if I don't give it a style, it's going to give me a default, okay? And the first thing I want to tell you about divs is that the div height will default to the size of the content that's inside of it, okay? So for instance, look down here, div ID logo, there's nothing in here. So if I type some text in here, let's say, just whatever, save that, go back over, refresh, you can see that that logo is starting to peek through because I defaulted now to the height of the text that's inside, okay? But I don't want to have to trick this out every time, so the easiest thing to do is go back here, let's take the text out, and make sure you don't clip the tag there, whoops. And now let's go back up here, and under background image with the URL, I'm gonna give this a height, okay? And it doesn't really matter what it is right now, I'm not gonna be exact, so I'm gonna say height, colon, let's say 150 pixels, just pick that out of the blue. Go back and refresh, okay? And now you can see there's a couple things that we've got going on here that are not working. First of all, our logo is tiling. You can see that in fact that div now does have a height of 150 pixels, but you can also see here's another default of the browser. The width of a div, if you don't assign it something, the width is going to be 100% of its parent container. And in this case, the parent container, as you can see over here in the document, is simply the body tag. Okay, and the body tag is going to be the full 100% of the browser window, so thus the div with the ID of logo is also going to be a full 100% of the browser. Okay, so what I could go do is I could go in here and get the exact height and width of the div, the image, and I can set that to my div. That certainly would work. You know, that way you wouldn't see the tiling. You could also put content around it, but let's say maybe we need to put some text in that div also, but I need to get rid of the tiling, okay? Let me show you how this works. Let's go back over. And the tiling can be controlled. I'm gonna put this above height because I like to keep things together. It certainly can go anywhere, but another attribute here of the background image, and let's drop a line, and it's going to be background dash repeat. And I'm going to say colon, and I'm going to say no dash repeat. Okay, no dash repeat. This is going to tell the background not to tile. So when I go back over here and refresh the page, I can see that now I only have the image occurring once. I do not want it to tile, okay? I don't want it to go anywhere. There's two other things you can do to control this. There, in a logo situation, it's not very useful, but perhaps you want some kind of tiling background, but you don't want it to tile one way or the other. I'll show you there's two other controls for this. No repeat is the first. Here's another one, repeat x-x. This means it's going to repeat only horizontally or against an x-axis for those of you who remember geometry class. So refresh, there it is, it's repeating x only. And the other one is to say repeat y. Let's go change that, refresh. And now you can see, I mean, we have a set height for this div, but it's only repeating top to bottom. But in this case, I definitely want no dash repeat, and I'm good to go. So you can see there it goes, and I have my logo all set. So that's how you were able to bring in images via CSS, change the background. One thing you might be saying right now is, well, why wouldn't I just use an image tag? Well, one advantage to doing this in CSS is if the logo, let's say you were developing the website, somebody else was developing the logo and you knew it was going to change at a later date, then it gives you the option of changing that graphic out without having to change each and every image tag or trying to match a file name, something like that. Again, it's all controlled via the style sheet. Let's say you're still experimenting with logos, this makes that very easy. So anyway, we'll be doing some more of that, but that's how you manipulate images inside CSS.